Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss Python lists in detail. In the previous lecture, we have studied about Python numbers. So today we will discuss another data type known as lists. In Python, the most basic data structure is list. As we have used arrays in C, C++, Java, if we want to process a list of numbers, then we can use list data type in Python. And similar to array, its indexing value, that is the first index value, also starts from 0. And the second element's index value starts from 1 and so on. But there is little difference between simple C arrays and Python lists is that list can contain heterogeneous kind of data, whereas array contain only homogeneous data, either integer type, float type, or double type or long type. But lists can contain heterogeneous data. That means you can enter either strings, numbers, characters, or even list can be a member of a list. So it comes under heterogeneous kind of data type. So first of all, we'll study how to create a list. For creating a list, it is very simple. In Python, as I already told you, we don't need to mention the data type before using any of the variable or object. Similarly, here we have created a new variable, new list with 4 elements, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You need to understand that we have to give the list elements in square brackets. You can see these square brackets. And then we'll just print new list, and it will give you the output as such. That means it's a list with 4 elements, 1, 2, 3, and 4. You can see that all these elements are of the same type, and it is mentioned as in comment homogeneous data elements. Then we have created another list, new list 1 with 3 elements, where first element is an integer, second element is a string, and the third element is a float. That means it contains heterogeneous data. Now we'll print it also. And now we have created a third list, new list 2 with 2 elements, 111, and further there is a list inside a list. You can see there is again a set of square brackets in which we have declared 3 variables, 1, Clara, and 75.5. It is heterogeneous kind of list. So this is list inside the list. So this list have 2 elements, 111 and 1 Clara 75.5. This is called nested list. Fine, now we can see the output. All these 3 elements that we have declared so far, 3 lists are shown in the output as such, because we didn't performed any processing on them. Now, how to traverse a list? Once we have created a list, we can traverse it by using its index value. So indexing is very important, as it was important in arrays also. I already told you in the beginning that the array indexing, similar to array indexing, list indexing also starts from 0. So whatever elements we declare, they got indexed automatically by the interpreter, and then we can fetch their individual values also. Suppose we have created this list, data list, with these 5 elements, 23, 45, 31, 53, and 62. So their indexing will be like this. These are index values. 23 is at index 0, 45 at 1, 31 at 2, 53 at 3, and 62 at 4. Now we are going to print these elements, data list 0, data list 2, and data list 4. So data list 0 will print 23, 2 will print 31, and 4 will print 62. Therefore, you can print any of the list element from its index value also. Next, if I go beyond the range of a list element, then it generates an error. Suppose I have this list again, and now I'm going to access data list 5. So 5 index does not exist. There is no element at index 5. And while printing data list 5, it will generate an error, list index out of range. Similarly, it was in C and Java also, array index out of bound, like that. And in Python also, it will generate an error if we want to access elements beyond certain range or beyond the index values, which are assigned by the compiler or interpreter. Next, traversing nested lists. Since we have created a nested list also, and how to access them, it's also very simple. You can see from this example. Suppose I have a data list with elements 1, and then again there is a list as its element, and then there is another element with these 3 elements. So in total there are 3 elements in this list, where at index 1 and index 2 there are 2 nested lists. Now if I want to access John, what would I do? Since this is a list, it will be further indexed by the interpreter 0, 1 and 2, and this will be also 0, 1 and 2. Now if I want to access John, what would I write? Data list 1, this, and 1, this one. By doing this, I can access the value of John. And similarly, I can also print Sandra with index values data list 2 and 1. We can see the code also. Data list 1, 1 and data list 2, 2. And the output will be John and Sandra. So it's very simple how to access nested lists in Python. Nested lists are important in order to process matrices. Now there is a new concept in Python for lists and for indexing that is called negative indexing, which was not in C, C++ or Java. So it's a new concept over here, negative indexing. What do you mean by negative indexing? Negative indexing means we can also access the list from back or in reverse order. That means the indexing is done like this: -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. So if I write data list -1, it will print the element 62. If I write data list -3, it will print -3. It will print 31. And if I write data list -5, it will print 23. So negative indexing is also possible in Python, where the indexing starts from the back. You can see the output 62, 31, and 23. It is very important if you want to access list elements from back. However, in C and C++, you need to put the loop in reverse order in order to access elements from the back. But here you can just access them by the negative indexing values. You need to remember that negative indexing starts from -1, -2, -3, and so on. It doesn't start from 0. But in positive indexing, it starts from 0. You need to remember this. Next, slicing. There is one more operator which is provided for lists, for accessing list within a certain range. This is called slicing operator, and it is denoted by colon, a simple colon. If I want to access elements within a certain range in a list, then I can use this slicing operator. So let's see through an example. Suppose I have this list, data list 23, 45, 31, 53, and 62. Now I want to access elements within a certain range. Then I can specify the range like this: 0, colon, 3, where colon is a slicing operator. So it will access the elements. First of all, mark their indexes 0, 1, 2. It will, 3 is over here. It will print elements 23, 45, and 31. It excludes the element which is mentioned on the right side. Fine. So it will go up to 2. It will print the list 23, 45, and 31. And if I write 2 to 4, I want to print elements 2 to 4, then it will print 31 and 53, as you can see in the output. Now we can also access list with negative indexing, where I have mentioned colon -4, where left hand value is not given. Left hand value is not given over here. First of all, mark negative indexing, -1, -2, -3, -4, and -5. So it will start from the beginning. It will start from the beginning and will go up to -4. That means since the right hand side index is excluded, it will print only 23. See the output, it will print only 23. And if I mention -4 colon and nothing on the right hand side, it will print all the elements up to the end of the list, starting from -4 index. That means 45, 31, 53, and 62, as shown in the output. Because we have started from -4 and going up to the last of the list. Here, if we don't mention index value on the left hand side, automatically it starts from the beginning. And if we don't mention on the right hand side, it automatically goes to the last. And if I just mention colon, then it prints the entire list as such. With slicing operator, you can print the entire list just by putting colon. Or just if you write data list, it will also print the entire list. So this is how you can use slicing operator to print elements or access elements within a certain range with positive indexing as well as negative indexing. Next, changing or adding elements to a list. What if you want to add a new element in a list? It's very simple. Or want to change a value of a list element. If you have given a wrong value accidentally and you want to change it, then you can change it with a simple step. This is a list given, data list 2 is equal to 60. So first of all, mark their indexing, data list 2. At data list 2, there is 60, there is 31. And now it will be replaced with 60 because I have assigned new value at data list 2. Similarly, at data list 4, I am replacing 62 with 12. Data list 4 is equal to 12. Now I'm going to print the list. So you will see the elements with new values as shown here. 23, 45, 60, 53, and 12. See, this is replaced with 60 and this is replaced with 12 as we have done over here. 60 and 12 new elements, 31 at place of 31 and at place of 62 there is 12. Next, what if you want to add a new element? That was for changing the value. Now what if you want to add a new element in the list? That can be done by using the append method of lists. Data list 23, 45, 31, 53, and 62. Now I want to append a new element. I will write data list dot append 39. Then new element will be added after 62. And if I want to add more than one elements in the list, then I can use the method extend and I can add more elements in parentheses and further we'll give the value in square brackets because it's further a list 76, 23, and 15. Now we have assigned 3 values over here. And if we print the data list, it will give you the entire list with all the new 4 values. You can see over here, new 4 values are added. So there are 2 methods for adding an element in the list. One is append and other is extend. Next are list methods. There are various methods associated with lists. 2 of them we have already studied, append and extend. Append used to add an element at the end of the list, and extend is used to add more than one element, that is again a list of elements to the list. Insert IP. If I want to insert an element at a particular location in the list, then I will use insert IP. That means, suppose I have this list and its indexing is given over here, and I want to insert an element at location 2, and where I will represent the location and P represents the value which I want to insert. So I want to insert at location 2 and the value will be 35. What will be done? In arrays in C, we shift the elements downward in order to make the space empty for inserting a new element. In data structures, we have already studied it. Then 50 will go at index location 20, 10. 30 will remain over here. It will go at location 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and 0. Fine. Now 30 will be replaced with 35. This happens internally by the interpreter, but it can be done by simply using this method, insert I comma p, which will insert new element 35 at location 2 by simply using this method. In C, we need to implement entire program by moving the elements downward, but in Python, C, it's very simple. By using insert method, you can insert new element in the list, and the new list now contain these elements: 35, 30, 40, 50, and 60. Now next, remove P. If I want to remove an element from the list, then I will specify its value over here, remove 40, then it removes 40 from the list. Index P, it informs you or returns the value of index of 40. If I give value of P as 40, then it returns this value. If P is 40, it returns its index value. Count P, it returns the occurrence, how many times 40 occurs in the list. If it occurs only once, then it will return 1. If it is occurring more than 1, suppose 3 times, it will return 3. Pop I, removes and returns item at location I in the list. So this is also similar to the above. Remove P removes element according to the value, but pop I removes element which we specify as parameter. If I give pop 3, then it will remove the element present at location 3. Copy. If pop can also be used without specifying any argument, you can also use pop like this. Then it removes any of the element from the list. It removes any element. It will pick randomly and removes element from the list. Now copy. It returns copy of the list. That means in order to make a new copy of the same list, we can create copy function. Suppose you have list of 1000 elements. In order to create it again, you can copy their values. Clear. It removes all the elements from the list and returns the empty list. Sort, sorts the elements in the list. See, in C, C++, Java, you need to use any of the algorithm like bubble sort, insertion, selection sort, merge sort, radix sort, or quick sort to sort the elements of a list. In Python, there is a simple method given, sort, by which you can sort the entire list. It's very simple in Python. You just need to use the function sort in order to sort the elements of a list. Reverse. Reverses the order of elements in the list. And it's also very simple. By using the reverse method, you can reverse the elements. By seeing these methods, you can see that the programming becomes very easy in Python. In C, you need to develop program for each of these methods, which are mentioned over here. But in Python, they are readily available for your use. So you can do high-end programming by using Python. Next is all the list methods. There is a special note. All the list methods are accessed using dot operator with the list name. You should know that there's a difference between methods and functions. Methods are accessed with dot operator, whereas functions are used directly. You can see in the program, all these methods which I have explained over here are accessed with dot operator. Data list dot append 39, which I have already studied. So method is always accessed with dot operator. Data list dot extend to add more elements in the list. Data list dot insert, that means it will insert 62 at location 2. Then we are printing in order to see the output. Then remove 23. It will remove 23 from the list. Data list dot index 53. It will inform you the index value of 53. That 53 where it is located in the list. Then next is data list dot count. It will inform you how many times 62 occurs in the list. Data list dot pop. It removes an element from the list. Data list dot copy. It creates a new copy of the list. Data list dot reverse. It reverses the element of the list. And sort. it sorts the elements of list, and then clear at last, it clears all the elements from the list. You can see from the output, the changes will be done according to these methods. In practical portion, these methods can be implemented. Just go through these methods once again, which can be done in the practical lab part. Next are list functions. There are a few list functions available which are very important. First one is CMP, which is comparison. This is used to compare two lists, whether they are equal, less or greater, like this. For that, you can use CMP function. Then length list, it gives the total length of the list elements, how many elements in the list. Max list returns the largest element from the list. Min list returns the smallest element from the list. And list sequence, this is used to convert any other sequence into a list data type. Because there are various kinds of sequences available in Python, like tuple, set, dictionary. If you want to convert them to list, that can be done by this typecast function list. Next is list comprehension. You can see the example of these functions. Suppose I have this list, length data list, maximum data list, and min data list. So you can see length, it is having 5 elements. Max data list, 62 is the largest element. Min data list, 23 is the smallest element in the list. So this is the output of the methods, the functions which we have used so far. You also see that we have used these functions directly without using the dot operator. In function, the data list is put as an argument, whereas in methods, data list dot method name is used. So this is the difference between function and a method. Next is list comprehension. Just like English comprehension, we see that we used to give a paragraph from which we make answers to questions which are asked from that paragraph. Similarly, if we have given a list, we can get data out of it, we can extract data out of it, and this concept is called list comprehension. Even what we are going to do, we are going to extract even elements from the list. For I in range 50, if I mod 2 is equal to 0, print even. What this loop is going to do, it will run from 0 to 49 because range is specified as 50, and it will extract even elements from the list because this is the logic for even numbers. I mod 2. If a number is divisible by 2, that means it is an even number. So first of all, the value of I will be 0 mod 2. Then 0 is equal to 0 true. It will print 0 as an even number. Next time loop will augment to 1. 1 mod 2 is equal to 0 false. It will not execute. It will not assign that value to even. Next time it will execute next number 2. Mod 2 is equal to 0, then it will print 2, and so on. Therefore, from the range from 0 to 49, it will extract numbers from even numbers from the list. And similarly, we can print the numbers, odd numbers, for I in range 50. If I mod 2 is not equal to 0, then it will print odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9, because the logic is changed over here. If the remainder is not 0, if it is 1, then the number will be odd. Then that odd number will be printed. And this concept will go on until the entire list is exhausted. List membership test. There are methods available which are used to see whether an element exists in the list or not. That's what we performed for searching an element from a list. Data list 11, 22, 33, 44, and 55 is given. If I want to check 11 is in the data list, then it returns the value either in true or false. If 11 is in the list, it will return true. Yes, it is available. And next element we are checking is 66 is in the list, it will return false. So the in operator is used to check the membership of an element in the list. You can see in case of 69, the result is false. Now iterating through the list for city in Goa, Mumbai, Chennai. You can also use lists using for loop. For that, we'll use for city, where city is a looping variable in Goa. Here we have given a list of 3 cities, Goa, Mumbai, and Chennai. Then it will print, I visited Goa, I visited Mumbai, and I visited Chennai. It augments the list automatically and prints the next element. So this is how you can use list using for loop to access each and every element of the list. And one more thing I want to tell you, that list can also be input from the user, because we have already declared list while understanding these concepts. You can also take input of list. Now I will tell you how to do that. For that, you need to create first of all an empty list. List 1 is equal to this. Then write for I in range. You can also take a variable number or n up to which you want to print or input list elements. List 1 is equal to this, n is equal to int number, enter n, up to which you want list elements for input, for I in range 0 to n. Then we'll write element is equal to int input Now we are going to take input, int input, enter value, and the input will be go inside this element le. Now we'll append it, list1 dot append, and in argument we'll give the value le. And at last, outside the for loop, we'll print list1, where entire list will be created. This is how you can take input of a list from the user. First of all, create list1 is equal to this empty bracket, n is equal to int input enter n, where n is the number or number of elements that you want to input for a list. Suppose if you want to input 10 elements, you will write n, you will give the value of n as 10. Then loop will run from 0 to 9, and one by one every element will be input by the user and it will be appended to the list. We have already studied this method append, which is used to append an element to the list. So this is how we can take input from the list, and at last when the entire list will be inputted by the user, then we can print list1, then entire list will be printed. So this is all about lists in Python. I hope you understand the concept of lists and you can implement it for many uses. It is having many usages that we have studied in its functions and methods also. And in the next lecture, we will study tuples, Python tuples. Thank you, students.